Hi there and welcome to Cappuccino Conversations, where we talk about innovation and entrepreneurship, and of course we're celebrating the upcoming 5th South African Innovation Summit that is happening in Bryanston, that is coming up on the 28th, 29th and 30th of August. And we're talking to a lot of the speakers that you'll be able to see on the stage there, where they run at times something like 9 venues running concurrently with speakers. It's absolutely an amazing event. But here I am with Karen Walstra. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. You're going to be one of those speakers, and I'm really excited to hear about the space that you operate in, because you're an education specialist. Do you want to tell us a little bit about background first of all?
Well, what I'm going to speak about is distance learning.
Okay.
And how we use distance learning to engage children who are not in the same space. So in other words, distance learning which is live and interactive. So you could have children in Johannesburg and the lessons could be being broadcast to children in Limpopo.
Okay, that's fantastic. Now, the first mistake that people make, and I made it because I said, oh, that's like e-learning. And you said, oh, absolutely not. How is it different to e-learning?
Well, it uses the technologies, but doesn't necessarily mean that the children themselves are engaged in the technology in terms of an e-learning space. But they might be using technology to engage with the presenter. So they might have a response system, or a system where if the presenter who is in a different venue or in a different situation asks a question, they can then respond to that. So the types of questions the presenter could ask could be multiple choice, could be short word answers, could be true and false, and then on the screen would pop up a graph showing the presenter as to how the children have responded, whether they're understanding the question or whether they're not. And the presenter can then go on from, do I carry on with this learning, or do I need to reteach?
Do you slow down also? Something very important that we mentioned again before we started talking, we were talking about this is not something that replaces teachers. It's very important to understand that. It's not a threat for teachers. This is something as a tool that enhances really what happens in the classroom, right?
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about.
So what happens is that the presenter is in a different physical space. So it could be a couple of kilometers away, it could be a couple of 100 kilometers away. But they would have children within their own classroom. The teachers who are in the classrooms which are viewing the lesson would then be helping their children there. So you would have teachers from both instances learning and learning from each other.
Fantastic.
So after the lessons, you could also have the teachers collaborating with each other and growing within their spaces. So you could have communities of practice across that within teachers as well. So you could have teachers developing relationships with teachers who they probably would never have met in instances other than this.
And it's amazing because it's really in terms of that connectivity or sharing of knowledge that sits so right in innovation, isn't it? Because that's exactly what innovation is about.
Yeah, I think it's just using facilities or technologies that are available and using them to make learning meaningful. Where we're sitting with a situation where education has got so many needs, this is just one that could fill the needs so nicely and could help teachers who are feeling really inadequate. That they're excited, that they want to be involved, but they don't know where to go. And so the idea is that you don't have one school broadcasting to hundreds of schools, but rather to small groups of schools.
Right. So it really is a focused effort. This sounds fantastic. Now you also talked about flip charts or boards. It sounds like interesting technology that's involved.
So flipping a classroom.
Flipping a classroom. Okay.
So if these lessons were recorded, what the children would then be able to do is the children could then view them at their own time online or offline.
Now there's a great advantage to that, hey, because I mean I spoke to somebody else here at the university a while ago, and they said specifically in a culture where some people don't necessarily raise a hand and ask a question, there's a great advantage here to seeing a clip that you have control over.
Absolutely. So you can actually, instead of saying to the teacher, I don't understand, and then saying to the teacher again, I don't understand, and then beginning to feel embarrassed, you can go back and watch this video as many times as you want to. Similarly to Khan Academy.
That's it.
So you could use those kinds of video clips, and these would then just be South African curriculum related, and they would be related to stuff that the children are needing to learn right now.
That's fantastic. Now at this stage I'm just going to tell our viewers that if you look at the strapline right now, you can see the link, and you can follow the link to go and connect with Karen and with some of the other speakers that are going to be at the summit even before the summit starts, which is also a really great benefit. And I'm going to ask now what do people need to bring to your session? Do they have to prep? Do they have to?
I don't think they need to prep anything. You just need to come with an open mind and willing to learn and chat. And what we're going to be doing in the session is we're going to have a live demo.
Great.
So we'd like the people to be willing to take part in a live demo.
Fantastic.
Where they can be chatting to another school or another organization and seeing how the technology actually works.
Awesome. So there's a real demo of connecting with another classroom somewhere.
Yes.
Okay. Fantastic.
And the other advantages is that you could use it with businesses. So instead of companies flying around to meet each other, you could be within the same corporate environment in terms of using the technology.
Okay, this is amazing. Now, something that I do ask everybody who comes along for these chats is to go, everyone who seems to be in this space of innovation was doing something else in a previous life. How did you fall into this space? How did you get into this space?
I teach.
You teach.
And I love teaching.
Yeah.
And I think that we need to make teachers feel inspired and wanting to teach. So for a very long time, I have conducted and run teacher workshops. And the problem with that is that you have a limited space and a limited number of venues or a limited number of presenters. When you're looking at these kinds of technologies, it's limitless.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so exciting, because then you don't have to say to people, oh, sorry, your venue's booked, or sorry, you can't come along because we don't have enough space. So that's how the idea started.
Fantastic.
And so we've been exploring that.
Great, great. Well, it sounds like it's going to be a fantastic talk. Thanks for coming along. Good luck with your talk. And we look forward to seeing you at the summit. Thanks for coming in.
Oh, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. And thanks for watching Cappuccino Conversations. Please do go online. Remember that there is also a competition. If you go onto the Facebook site and you have a great innovation, you can take a picture of it, you can post that and get friends to vote for it and see if you can win some of the fantastic prizes. So check that website out. Until another time, thank you very much and goodbye.